right. In today's video, we got a special guest, the hip hop gamer itself. That's right. Hot 97's very own, New York's very own. So, my brother, welcome to the channel. Appreciate you for giving us this opportunity to interview you. How you doing? How you feeling today?
Yo, you already know what it is, Flea. We outside, baby.
Yeah, let's
the game, hip hop gamer, son. Let's get it popping. You know what I mean? Yo, thanks for having me. You know what I'm saying? And yo, like I'm here for it, bro. I've been doing so many things. I just been on like a little mini tour and stuff like that. So I was in Houston, Texas, doing something out there, hosting an event. And I did that with DJ Spinderella, you know, from Salt and Pepper and stuff like that.
Oh, that's dope.
It was fire. That was dope. And then I spoke at Rice University when I was out there, and I also gave Cal Tucker, who's the outfielder. He's the one, you know, on the Houston Astros. You know what I'm saying? They won the World Series and stuff like that. So so gave him a gaming laptop with Origin PC and AMD. So that was dope. Then I was in Boston, you know, for PAX East. Then in Baltimore for Coppin State University, and did Mississippi, you know, at Jackson State. So yo, I just been all over, bro.
Oh, you've been cooking up. You've been in the kitchen cooking up. That's today we basically gonna be asking some questions, seeing what you've been getting into, what your life is like. Babe, go ahead. Let's talk about it.
I actually watched a little bit of your All Hip Hop TV's interview. And in that interview, you mentioned about how your grandma taught you about how to play video games, and how about she tied life lessons into video game lessons, like how there's objectives and adversities that you have to go through in life as well as in video games. Originally, what video game taught you lessons at a young age when you were a kid and just getting into the gaming industry and kind of realizing, oh my gosh, games can actually teach you a lesson in life?
Yo, that's such a dope question. And by the way, your hair is looking fire, son. Word up, son. Holding it down, B. So, the game that really taught me a dope life lesson was Final Fantasy VII back in the day. You know what I'm saying? So, in Final Fantasy VII, you know, for those that may not like know or have played it, you know, back then, because you know the remake is out now, but you could change the name of the main character. So, you know, the main character is Cloud, then you got Tiffia and Barrett and all of them. You could change the names of those like characters. So I named them my family. So like my brother was Barrett, you know what I'm saying? My sister was this. And so when you're reading the text and you're playing the game, it hits you different because you're reading it with the mindset of your family versus just playing a game. So when you play certain areas and certain spots in Final Fantasy VII, it was like, yo, what if that really happened? Like, what would I do in this situation? It kind of made me think about things and made me look at myself a bit differently. And it also brought me closer to my family because I really, really care. And if there ever was a situation that I was faced with that I've seen in Final Fantasy VII where I had to rescue and save somebody or look out for somebody in my fam, you know, I'm on it, you know, 100%. So playing a game, that interactivity, helped me get closer to my family, actually. So Final Fantasy VII is one out of many games that did that. And on top of my grandmother, you know, teaching me about life through video games, with her being a hardcore gamer herself, it all just clicked and connected, and it stayed with me to this very day.
Like, you've obviously been with games your entire life. Like, what is your all-time favorite games? Like, I would say like top 3. What is your favorite games that impacted you like the most, I would say?
Oh, God of War, Grand Theft Auto, Final Fantasy. Like those I would say those are the top 3. So like God of War, see, God of War, you know, I love the energy, I love the action. Y'all know me, I'm hyped, you know what I'm saying, full of that energy. You know, Kratos is me, like, you know what I mean? And but real talk, I'm gonna tell you what happened. So this is way back during the PS2 era, right? So and you know, I'm from Brooklyn, I'm from East New York, I'm from New York. So I'm in Manhattan, right? Times Square. And in that time, we had the Virgin Mega Store and stuff like that, where you go in there, you know, you buy tapes and CDs and stuff like, you know, back in those days. So they had a PlayStation 2 demo kiosk, right? And God of War was on it. And this is my first time ever seeing God of War ever, yo. And I played this game, and you had the serpent come out. You had to fight the first boss battle. I lost my mind, and I was like, yo, I can't wait to play this game. But when I learned the story about Kratos, about how, you know, you got the army, he's about to get defeated. He gives his soul to Ares, and Ares wipes out his enemies, but also makes Kratos kill his wife and daughter.
Yep.
And he had to wear the ashes of his wife and daughter, you know, for the rest of his life. So every day it's a your skin is a reminder of your pain and your hurt. Now think about that for a second. You know, growing up, being black in the hood and everything, and things that we've dealt with and deal with and stuff like that, where your very skin is a reminder of hurt. It was very, very crazy, like, to me, in terms of a game having a storyline like that and me playing it with that mindset. So that's something that drew me in, but it also made me realize that regardless of what pain you deal with or how dark things may be, you always have control in how you respond to it. And that's what dope. Yeah. And so playing God of War also gave me an ability to understand how to channel the negative energy and turn it into something positive in terms of the way I responded to that skin metaphor. And I was like, wow. And, you know, that saved my life because my grandmother, she also taught me about church and everything. So my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, that's how I live my life. Even if you look on my chain, dog, God first, you know what I'm saying? So like I'm really about that. So, you know, now in this present day, and then looking back, playing God of War and Final Fantasy, all these other games, that's why gaming is so important to me, bro. And I love it every day.
That's what's up. And you've been gaming the majority of your life, right? What do you feel like was the best generation for gaming? Was it the Nintendo era with 2D? Was it the 3D era with the GameCube? Was it, you know, more down the line with the online experience of Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 and 4? What was your all-time generation of gaming?
Oh, so here's what I would say. In terms of game development and the experiences that I'm having from a standpoint of just power, performance, and things I've never seen before, I'm going right now with PlayStation 5 because playing Ratchet and Clank.
That was my favorite game of last year.
All the OGs.
It's ridiculous. Looking at Last of Us 2, God of War, Ghost of Tsushima, like just the PS5 version of those experiences and stuff like that. Like that stuff is amazing. But to answer your question, you know, I gotta take it back to the 90s. You know what I'm saying? So I'm definitely going with the like the PS2 era. I'm going with that era as my favorite era. I'm gonna tell you why. See, I'm a competitive person. I only know how to be number one. I'm the best at what I do. I don't
talk to him. Talk that talk. Talk that talk.
I'm serious with this, right? So what I loved back in the day, and even though this particular commercial and all this other stuff came out during the Sega, you know, Genesis and going into the PlayStation 1, and even though it happened around that era, the reason why I say the PS2 and the you know, when the Dreamcast and when the Xbox first came and GameCube, all this other stuff, the reason why I say that is because I remember looking at Crash Bandicoot go to Nintendo's building and be like, yo, what up? You know what I'm saying? What's popping? Y'all ain't ready for that smoke that we doing right now. I remember that. I remember the PlayStation Underground disc, the demo disc and stuff like that. I remember the cheat codes like Game Shark and Code Breaker and Game Genie. Yes. I remember all of these moments, you know what I mean? The music, the energy, the raw, the edginess. I miss that. And I think in this generation of gaming, the only reason why it wouldn't be the best is because of culturally, to me, it's not the best. But in terms of advancements in technology, obviously it is. But culturally, it's not the best because I think a lot of people, they operate in fear a lot. Everybody try to be so woke that they wind up staying asleep. Like, it's just so crazy to me. So to me, you know, I think culturally it's not the same, but advancements, you know, is no denying what we're experiencing today. But back in the day, PS2 era, that's my era, my favorite era.
Now let me ask you a question, right? How did you get into journalism? Because I feel like it was the bridge that connected both, you know, the gaming world for you and the hip hop world. So how did you get into journalism?
So I got into journalism because, I was watching G4 Tech TV, right? And, you know, I'm a fan of Adam Sessler and Morgan Webb and all of them. I'm watching shows all the time, right? And there was this one episode, and it was like the Christmas episode or something like that. And Adam Sessler started to sound like more of a corporate voice versus himself. So at that time, I was like, dad, like some of the people that I pay attention to and certain things that they say that I admired now started to feel like their words was being paid for and manufactured versus being authentically them. So when that happened, I was like, you know, I'm one thing about me, I'm not going to complain. I'm going to create. I feel like a lot of people that complain, but they don't have no solutions is more part of the problem. You know what I mean? So I don't complain about nothing. I just figure it out, do it, and then you watch me do it. You know what I mean? And then we lead that way. So what I did was, after watching that and just, going to the drawing board and looking at just the industry as a whole during that time, keep in mind, this is, like 2007 going in 2008 and everything for me. I was like, yo, if there's anybody in the world that know anything about games and the culture, me. Like, if there's anything, that's what I do. That's what I know. So I'm gonna speak about it. So all I did was just started talking about it. But because I spoke about it, I got discovered by Torrance Davis. At the time, he had a website called thebitbag.com, and he's been all over E3. So he invited me to go to E3. So when I went to E3, that's when I got a chance to learn the business, meet so many people, and I was like, yo, I want to take this journalism to the next level and apply a business model to it in my own style. Now, if you notice, I never worked ever for any video game company, ever. I never been employed by no video game company. I've always been independent, Dame Dash style, you know what I'm saying? Always been me. So once I learned the business and everything like that, and I just love talking about games, that's when I started doing more research and understanding the ethics of journalism and doing these things. So between my boy Torrance and my own research, that's when I found a passion for the journalistic side of just journalism, period. I started watching Law and Order a lot more. I always loved Law and Order and watched it, but I started watching it by like looking at body language. I started looking at like real documentaries of like suspects when they getting questioned. I started looking at Oprah and Jay Leno and everybody that much more with a deeper eye. And I just got to the point where I started to master the art of journalism, but I also wanted to change the game. So the way I changed the game was the way I do journalism through relationships. Meaning that if I interview you and I'm going to ask you questions that I know you're not going to expect, but it's going to come from a place of love because I appreciate you first before the clout of an interview. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I took journalism to another level in the gaming space because I wanted to build something real before I get something from you for the sake of the job, the business of it. I wanted to give you me first.
That's real. That's real.
You know what I'm saying? So if you rock with me, then we gonna do this interview together. And that was just a bunch of homies talking. So
and that's how I felt like when I brought you onto the show. One of the main reasons why I started Voice of the Heroes, like you was a big, inspiration in that. And also, a couple of others. But I do like the fact how you mesh, journalism with the gaming and the hip hop world. So my next question is, you don't rub shoulders with some of the most talented people in the world. What interview impacted your life or had the most influence after that interview?
Oh, wow. I mean, it's not just one, dog. It's so many. It's so many. I could go on and on and on. Like, so I'll give you a few. So one interview that I did, and it was a quick interview, but still powerful. So when I spoke to Tyler Perry. So when I had Tyler Perry on the show, it was crazy. I'm going to tell you why. Because he told me that he had such a fear of flying that he was missing big business deals simply because he was afraid to get on a plane. So either your fear is going to, like 50 Cent say, either fear is going to consume you and you're just going to be a product of your fear, or you're going to become fearless and dominate your space with your passion.
True
so
indeed.
It was so powerful to me. So what happened is Tyler Perry, he told me that he went to learn how to fly. And he studied, he got his pilot's license. He did something about his fear so that he can be fearless in his passion. So now he can do anything, go anywhere, whatever. So to me, what was so impactful and powerful about what Tyler Perry said, it wasn't so much of just what he did, but the fact to have the courage and the mindset first to activate the ability to do what he did. And that right there was the source of being great. And I wanted to make sure that I always carry that on. So hearing that from him in person was powerful, man. So that was one moment that was powerful. Another powerful moment, real talk. Oh, man, so many. But there was this one guy from The Walking Dead, the guy that plays Morgan from The Walking Dead, the black dude who had this cane, like the staff and stuff. He told me when I asked him what the success looked like to him, and he said that was a great question because success, society-wise, is you got this girl, you got jewelry, you iced out, you got the house, you got the cars, you lit, like can't nothing go wrong. You know what I'm saying? But for him, success to him was being able to understand what love was so he could give it back. Success was internalizing what it means for him and not allowing society to determine what success should be for him. Taking ownership of what you view as success so you can be comfortable in your own skin versus trying to follow somebody else's moves. So I was just blown away by these people in these amazing positions, how humble they were. And because of their humility, that's why we exalt them so high. And that right there was amazing to me. So that was the second one. And the third one, just to throw this in there, real talk. Jay Ellis. And like I said, there's so many interviews that I had and stuff like that. Matter of fact, you know what? I ain't gonna even do Jay Ellis because that's 3 guys. So I'm gonna give you a lady that I spoke with. So Cheryl Lee Ralph. I had her on the show. Yeah. Cheryl Lee Ralph. And even Angela Bassett. Oh,
the queen!
Wow.
The queen herself.
Yeah, shout out to Angela Bassett. So like I had both of them on the show as well. And Cheryl Lee Ralph and Angela Bassett, some of the things that they said were so powerful. So when Angela Bassett, when she's working and she's on screen and she's getting into a role and stuff like that, she allows herself to dive into her pain. So when she performs on these roles that she wants people that watch her perform to get a change in their life, to go do something about the life that they give, because we only got one to live. And that right there was just so powerful to me, because we're always, like, even myself, when I'm doing an interview or whatever, people is watching that. So when I'm performing, doing my thing, what is people getting out of what I'm doing besides just the content? What is that other layer that I'm giving? So that right there was important to me. And with Cheryl Lee Ralph, she was talking about conviction. So when you speak on anything that you do, you got to speak and do it with conviction, because if you don't believe the very things that you're talking about you're going to do, nobody's going to believe it. Nobody's going to invest in it. And everybody's going to look at you as someone that's replaceable versus someone that's unique. And I was like, what? So yeah, that's just the name of a few powerful interviews that I've had. That was crazy.
Wow.
That's definitely dope. So one more for me, right? Out of the interviews that you have conducted and the ones that you've been a part of, which one was like a blooper reel or like an awkward moment time for you?
Awkward moment time? You know what's so funny? I'll tell you one. So there's this UFC fighter, right? His name is Chael Sonnen. If you look up Chael Sonnen or Chael Sonnen, something like that. But he's a UFC dude, and what was so awkward about it is because he was, I guess, trying to insult me, and it didn't work because I don't like dog. Like I'm the way I'm at in my life and the way God has changed me. Like nothing bothers me, like, or affects me. Like if somebody try to get at me, I'm like, well, I love you. I don't know what to tell you. Like I can't do this back to you if you try to get at me. It ain't gonna work. So we either gonna work this out, or we just have to go our separate ways. But I ain't gonna come after you if you come at me. I'm not. I'm gonna pray for you and hope that there's a change that happen in your spirit. You know what I mean? Like that's the way I approach life. You see what I'm saying? So he tried to say something slick because I'm from Brooklyn. And he tried to be like, oh, you from Brooklyn? Oh, so who did you rob yesterday? Or like, or something like that. And,
man.
And but when he said it, I was like, who did I rob? I could never take anything, especially from you, because you're too great. I can't take nothing from you. I can learn from you though. And then,
killed him with that. Killed him with kindness.
Kill him with kindness.
And he was like, oh, you're cool. All right, cool, bet. So he was really just trying to test me to see if I was like a lot of other people that he would interview or mess around with. Yeah. But after that interview, we were so cool and dapped it up. It was great. So at the end of the day, my humility taught him something. So it was awkward in the beginning, but beautiful in the end. Yeah. And at the end of the day, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's phenomenal.
You know what I mean? And one of the things that I try to tell a lot of people is one of the reasons why we immediately respond with negativity if somebody's being negative to us is because we got ego issues. Meaning that, oh, nobody can say nothing to me, or nobody can do this because you think you're special. Honestly, you're really not that like special. Like, and when you understand that you're really not that special, that's when you actually become special, because your flaws is also a gift, because we're always growing and learning. But if you think you're so amazing, you're never going to allow yourself to grow because you think you already hit your limit. So it's a lot of things to think about when you understand how we all operate and how we respond. We're a lot more powerful than we think, but our egos prevent us from growing. So yeah.
So you're a big part of the gaming and music industry. Which industry is the most unforgiving to get into? Like when you were just starting off getting to get into the music industry and the gaming industry, which one was more open and easy to grow, and which one do you feel like you were struggling and trying to figure it out?
Music, definitely. So just to give you some background on the music thing. So when I was 14 years old, I got offered, like record deals and stuff like that. And we turned them down. Like even the legendary MC Shan, we was going to sign with him and stuff like that. Like, cause it was a group that I had. Now keep in mind, I'm 14 years old. I grew up in East New York, Brooklyn. I was a very different person back then. You know what I'm saying? Everything was straight up gangster rap, hood stuff. I'll kill you. Like I was a different person back then. So what I'm trying to say is getting into the industry like that, it was very, very dark. And that's why I never decided to pursue the music industry on that level ever again. Listen, I'm gonna tell y'all something, man. The music industry, if you really want to get into it, I advise everybody, do it yourself. Like the Jay-Z route, Dame Dash route, 50 did it himself, got with a real clique, that did it themselves and stuff like that. Because it's dangerous, man. Like life and death types of stuff. Like the stuff I seen at an early age at 14, just trying to get in, and the way they try to take from you and stuff like that, it's dark. Now, what's so interesting to add to your question is when I graduated high school and stuff like that, I got a job in the mailroom at all the record labels. I'm with Def Jam, Universal, Interscope, Rockefeller, you name it. I'm around all of it every day. When I mean I'm around all of it every day, I'm carrying a box, Jay-Z's walking past. Boom. I'm doing it. Steve Stout is right there. Monty Littman, a lot of people that nobody even know. The Jimmy Iovine's of the world, the Leo Cohen's of the world. I'm all day, every day, deliver a mail, to them. I'm in the offices, everything. So just imagine being a fly on the wall every day with the things that's said, what goes on, you know what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
So yeah, I got they could do a Netflix series on just the stuff that I know and seen and witnessed from the mailroom. Crazy. But the point I'm trying to say is, I keep it quiet though. I ain't, you know what I mean? But what I'm gonna tell you is the music industry, when you do it yourself and bring the industry to you, I think you'll be better off. But if you try to go into the industry and sign certain things, let me tell you something. Just like the NBA has FBI watching the players and stuff like that. Once you sign to certain people and certain deals and certain stuff, it's not your life no more. When they talk about signing your life away and all this other stuff, that's not no formality, yo. It's real. Real. People will kill you if you say certain things that you shouldn't say because now you're messing up the money. That's and they put money over everything. Look, I'm telling you right now, you want to do music, do it yourself. That's just my opinion on how I think people should go at it if you really want to be in that industry, period. But don't be careful what you sign in because it's literally your life away, for real. So music was definitely tougher. The gaming side, it was tough, but wasn't as tough. But what I learned fast in the gaming industry is that at the time when I got in 2008, keep in mind, nobody never seen nobody like me before that looked like me, talked like me, dressed like me, but know what I know. So what happened is in my situation, when I would talk to developers, oh, they love me and stuff like that. But like fellow journalists and other people in the industry and like certain agencies and stuff like that, nah, they had a problem with me. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna tell you why they had a problem with me. They had a problem with me because I didn't need them. So let me break down how money is, like how the money go. So like, let's say you have so much talent, right? Then a new talent comes on. And this new talent is getting access to things, starting to blow up, getting paid for things, and blah, blah, blah. So when you got somebody that's new coming in, is obviously cutting the legs of somebody else. But that person, like, now it's not about talent. Because if it's about talent, ain't nobody seeing me. But if you talking about, like, position, business, who you know, clicks, like, let me tell you how serious it was back then. If somebody that worked for GameSpot was caught talking to somebody that worked at IGN, their job is done. Period. That's how serious and cutthroat things was. So now imagine being somebody that's on the outside looking in that don't got those relationships yet, and what you fighting against. You know what I'm saying? So it was very difficult, very difficult. But the way I learned the gaming industry was learning the business. And once I learned the business, it was over, because now they don't care about anything else. They know that you understand the bottom line. And through me knowing that, I was able to change the narrative, because now I'm going to teach you about the real culture about this. We're going to make money together, but we're going to do it the right way, and we're going to put people on along the way.
I kind of have more questions, because you're giving a lot of good advice for people who want to be like you, who want to integrate their passions and their career, and they want to make a business out of things they just love to do for fun, kind of thing. So what would be, I feel like the younger generations kind of look out on the internet and they tell you, okay, this is the only thing you're meant to do, right? So if you want to play video games, you can. It's going to be hard, but you got to go to school. You got to do all these things. So what would be the biggest piece of advice you could give to the youth or the younger generations who are trying to figure out how to incorporate all of their passions and their business ideas together?
Oh, amazing question again. So the first thing I would tell you is, what do you want to do? So many people want things, but don't even know what they want. And one of the worst things you could do as a content creator or just a creative period is to not be ready for the very thing you say you want. Period. How you gonna want something you ain't even ready for it? God don't operate like that. God is gonna bless you when he knows that you're ready for it. So he's gonna make you go through some stuff. You know what I'm saying? All that instant gratification is gonna last for an instant. But if you want the longevity, then you gotta grind so you can eat forever. You know what I'm saying? There's a difference. So the first thing is, what do you want to do? So let's play the scenario out right now, right? So I see your setup. Your setup is amazing. Shout out to SpongeBob over there. You know what I'm saying? All day. I see, you know what I'm saying, got spin a chain for them. You know what I mean? So so let's go through it right now. What do you want to do? And, like, career-wise? You. Like, what do you want to do?
I want to play video games and help people, and also get into the cannabis industry. Woo!
Okay, so video games and weed. Is that your passion?
Yep.
Right? Okay, so right now what I would do, like, for you, is the first thing is I will research all the cannabis companies, the agencies that work with these cannabis companies. I will research a lot of the like the doctors in the health industry around these cannabis companies. I will research all of that, get all that information, find out what cons, what events that they go to, that they attend to. I would learn all of that data and then go to those places where they at so you can meet them personally and build a relationship. That's the first thing that I would do on the cannabis side. Now, on the gaming side and stuff like that, I would do the same thing. That means going to, trying to go to places like the Summer Games Fest or New York Comic Con and PAX East and PAX West, and going to what's the name? NFT NYC, because they got a lot of NFT games and stuff like that. I would go to all of these places where gaming is going on and business is happening there and build the relationships first. The reason why the relationships is important is because when people meet you and they love your energy and they rock with you, and it's just based off the relationship, then now the next step is to know what you want to do with the relationships that you just garnered, and what can you offer before you do an act. See what I'm saying? So now you got the relationships, right? And you got the talent, you got the know-how, So when you speak to them, you're speaking their language, not just what you know. You're speaking what they know because you did the research on what they are part of and what they care about. And the fact that you know what they care about, it lets them know that you took the time out to invest in yourself to get the knowledge to be able to go to these places, learn about it. So now when they look at you, they're not just looking at you as just another talent. They're looking at you as somebody that could be a potential partner in what they're building. So now once they do that, they're going to give you inside information and insight, things that you only going to get through relationships. That's when the cheat code comes in. And once you got the cheat code, then you got the talent, you got the cheat code, you got the relationships, you got everything that you need. Now, all you got to do is say, hey, what's your goal? What you're trying to accomplish? And once you know their goals and what they're trying to accomplish, how does your talent and your business know-how help them accomplish their goals? Because accomplishing their goals help you to do your goals at the same time simultaneously. And then boom, now you have a brand deal. You didn't have to sign away anything to a manager or agent or nothing. You did it all yourself. And now that you're in the position and you're constantly growing, now you can invest and delegate and stuff because now you got the capital to do so. I hope that helps.
Yeah, that's amazing. Inspirational.
So yeah.
I was gonna ask, because you've obviously been in multiple, like you've been doing this for well over a decade now, and you've been in the music industry and the gaming industry for a very long time. And I know you've been seeing the new age of like gaming and content creation and things of that nature. So how have you, like, did you ever expect gaming and music to ever mesh the way that they are now? Like, I don't know, like Twitch streamers bringing these rappers on, or like even rappers wanting to be inside the gaming community. I've been seeing a lot of that, especially the newer generation. Did you ever expect any of this to like ever happen or anything like that? Or how do you feel about it?
Where you think it came from?
The hip hop gamer, talk to him, God.
Where you think it came from?
For real?
So, of course it came from me. What are you talking
the origin?
about? Yeah. It's not just in my name.
I believe it because it feels like people kind of just popped up out of nowhere. Like all of a sudden I was looking over, there's T Grizzly, there's T-Pain. Where did these people come from?
Where you think that stuff came from? You know what I'm saying? So like
Yeah.
I get I'm not even, I'm dead serious. Let me put you on, right? So remember when I was telling you I was in the mailroom?
Yeah.
So when I was in the mailroom, right? I was in the mailroom from 2000 to 2014.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I've been telling them about games since day one.
Mm-hmm.
Before I even got on Hot 97 and stuff like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I already had Denzel Washington on the show, Ryan Reynolds on the show, doing movies and stuff like that. Now you see gaming companies and talent doing red carpets now. So like, where you think that came from, bro? Me.
Yeah, definitely
Me.
paved the way, man. Put out the
blueprint
blueprint for him.
Yeah. So then on top of that, I can show you videos of me and Microsoft executive Aaron Greenberg doing Def Jam Rap Star together and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like all this stuff. Me, like before YouTube, because remember, YouTube came out in 2006 and stuff like that. Before all of the even social media stuff popped off, I was putting on look up people like Michael Kaiser, look up Steve Stout. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like look up Sean Peckeyes that be with Jay-Z and Rock Nation, stuff like that. Look at all of them. Like look up all of them, Khaled and all that. Look all of that up. I was there for all of it. I was the one like, yo, y'all should do this, y'all should do that. And don't just look at me. Also look at Console Kings. Look at my man Danny with Gamer Tag Radio. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, where you think this stuff come from? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the origin at big time. So now look, I was the one telling them, look, I'm the first journalist that was ever inside PlayStation Home during PS3, doing music and rap battles inside of PlayStation Home, telling them like, yo, you should do this. Look it up. You can look it up. Type in Sony, hip hop gamer, virtual goods, PlayStation Home. Like, look that up. You see me right there. Like, that's what I'm trying to tell you. So now that I'm seeing all this stuff happening, I'm happy, that is happening because I already knew what was going to go down once people started to catch on. The problem is that now it's starting to happen. There's a lot of people that's culturally authentic in the space that's missing out on a lot of opportunities because of popularity and those moments and let's blow up, let's do this. And that's when you see the Ninja and the Drake situation and, all that stuff pop off. So my thing is, just because it's a great thing that's happening, be careful with it because you don't want it to get abused. Then it becomes corny. And now it's like, well, I was just here to get the bread because most of them is just here to get bread. They don't really care about the culture. I was going to say,
yeah. Facts. Most of the people that I see, like on these big streamers things, I feel like some of them they're just there to like, make the money and leave. They're not there for anything else. Like I don't know,
they
like
already have the
Blueface
platform.
Yeah, like Blueface and the Krishan thing. I don't know if you saw them with Aiden Ross and them. Even in Aiden Ross's stream, like a year or two ago, he was just disrespectful. Like he's only there because they're paying him to be there. Like he didn't really care to be there. And it's like you can see that, like as a viewer, as a person that's not even in the industry, you can definitely see like people who care about what they're doing and people who just they're in it for the money and that's about it.
Yeah, and that's why I tell people all the time. It's like when you clout chasing at the expense of the very culture that you say you love, then you're going to abuse the very thing that supports you, and then it's going to get taken advantage of, and you have nobody else to blame but yourself. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then once it's not working for you anymore, then you're going to complain about how messed up it is. But when you had the power and the position, look at what you did with it. So at the end of the day, I don't care about what people say. I focus on what you do, and I focus on what you stand on, and I focus on what you're willing to sacrifice. You know what I'm saying? So I look at those things because, like I said, character is your currency.
100%.
Talk to him, man. Dropping jewels over here. Let's get it.
Do you ever have like creative blocks or where you just feel like right now I cannot create content, I cannot create music? And if you do, how do you overcome those like creative dry spots?
Yo, so real talk, that's a great question as well. So back in 2008, that's when that happened to me. But the reason why that happened to me is because I was so focused on, like, so for example, in my mind, I was so focused on looking for content, not realizing that I am the content. That was the difference. So what happened is, let's say there's a slow news day in gaming. Dang, I ain't got nothing to do. I ain't got nothing to talk about because the news was slow. Like, you know what I mean? Or whatever. So my problem back in 2008 was I was so focused and dependent on the market. Like I was so dependent on everything else to be able to make me do something. And that was the problem. So I would come into a creative block and then try to figure something out. And I didn't want to try to rush anything. So sometimes I just did without, you know what I mean? And just kind of thought about it. And then it hit me. I was like, yo, hold on a second. Like I am the content. Like people watch me and what I do and what I say, no matter what the subject matter or the topic is about. Like I'm the star of my own show and people rock with me. And if they rock with me, they're going to rock with what I do. So we just going to rock together. So I shifted the focus on the content being something I had to look for versus me being the content. And when I show up, that's my presence is a present. You know what I'm saying? So I just changed my mentality on how I operated. And it's just like what Jay-Z said. I'm not a businessman. I'm a businessman. So yeah, like even with me, like I get paid to go places. Like just to show up somewhere, like people will pay me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just to show up. And because who I am is valuable in itself. So that's how I started building my content that much more. Like anything that I do is valuable. When I speak, there's value. So I watch what I say that much more. So everything I do, it hit, you know what I'm saying? But that's the way I operate, like with everything that I do. Thank you. Nah, I genuinely care, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes people be like, yo, you should do this show because this show has this many followers or this show don't got that much. So why you do? Yo, dog, I'm on the New York Stock Exchange every week. First gamer to ever do that. I'm nationally syndicated on the radio, like multiple stations globally. Like, I don't care if I want to show with one viewer online. I don't care. If I got something that's going to help somebody, let's go.
This platform right here, just from you talking about that made me think about something, right? This platform was designed to give voice actors, and content creators the voice that they, normally don't have and get to speak on, because a lot of anime voice actors, they really, don't get paid what, You'll be surprised what they get paid, to be honest with you, for doing X amount of episodes for like Dragon Ball, Naruto, etc. Right? Like we have guests tomorrow, Michael Swalby and Amanda C. Miller. They both voice Kawaki and Boruto from Boruto Next Generation. Wow. So for that interview, right? You know, one of them, Amanda C. Miller, we didn't even notice. She has a movie coming out tomorrow called Sume or something like that. It's grossed over 200 million worldwide. But, you know, some of the revenue that these actors and actors, voice actors get are not like meeting up with like, you know, actors. So you said something about, you know what, you know, as far as the business aspect go, know what certain content creators are getting because you're in those rooms, you're rubbing shoulders with these people. What do you think is the best way for them to like up their price and value, you know, for themselves in that kind of industry?
So they got to learn how to bring business to the business deal that was presented to them. So I'll give you an example of what I mean, right? So I'm on Hot 97, right? I don't work for Hot 97. I'm not an employee with Hot 97, but I've been with Hot 97 since like 2013. We've been partners.
Wow. Since you said that, you just blew me away because you be on a YouTube and all that. Like you literally be gaming on their actual YouTube, be doing, yo, bro, that's crazy. You just said that.
Yeah. So I don't work for them. Like we work together. You know what I'm saying? So case in point, you know, like, you know, Logitech is one of my partners as well. Hot 97 never had a tech partner at the time, but they had no content that gave it any reason to. So I brought a different level of value to make certain deals happen behind the scenes. And because I come to like everybody that I work with, like with AMD and Samsung, I don't just do deals with them and they just pay me and it's a sponsorship. No, everything is a partnership. I get them bread too. You kidding me? What? Yo, millions. You kidding me? I generate a lot, dog. It's different with me. So the point I'm trying to say is a lot of people talk about what their worth is, what their value is and stuff like that. Look, I understand how you may feel, but your feelings versus what the market says is completely different. And then that's when you get, you know, the Twitter fingers and everybody start getting mad and all this other stuff like, yo, y'all not peeping the game. Y'all not understanding what's really going on. You think you're somebody you're not. And until that changes, you got to be better, period. So what I would say, and my suggestion is with those voice actors and stuff like that, right? So what I would do is, what is the Voice Actors Guild? Like, I forgot, my man, shout out to my man Justin, he actually sent me this information. But there's businesses, there's companies, there's agencies that operate within all of this. Let me show you how this works, right? Just as an example, so you can see how this is going on. So let's say you got McDonald's, right? McDonald's is up here. Let's say McDonald's has a $3 million budget to do an event or some movie or whatever it is, right? So McDonald's got the budget. Then when they got a budget, they outsource a lot of this budget to an agency. So let's say they outsource 1.5 million of that budget, half of the budget, to an agency. Now the agency get all that money, right? So now the agency, they got to take care of their people that's working on payroll. They got to take care of their overhead, keep the lights on and stuff like that. And then they're in search of talent and people that's going to help blow up the deal that they just secured. Right? So then after so you go from 1.5, right? So now that 1.5, let's drop it in this pot. So now they take like $1 million. So then you got like 500,000 left, right? Now with that 500,000, there's a whole marketing plan that they got to operate in and stuff like that. So let's say 250,000 goes into that marketing plan, right? So now that the marketing plan is done, now we got to find people that's going to carry out this marketing plan that we all put together and stuff like that. Notice when certain companies approach you, they already got the idea in place and everything like that. Everything's already set up. They just tell you what they want from you. That's it. They don't deal with you or work with you to come up with something.
That's true.
They tell you what they already got in play. You notice that, right?
Yeah.
All right then, right? So then, so then by then it trickles down to the talent, right? So now you got to get the big talents. They got the big followings and the big marketing dollars behind them. So cut that whole thing in half. And then by the time it gets to like the little nitty gritty crumbs in a bucket, and a lot of times the value in the talent from the so-called smaller channels be worth more than the bigger ones when you talk about results, engagements, and activity. But that's not how it always works. So by the time they get to you, they utilize you to do a trickle-up effect to make sure that the execution goes correct. So you are the face of the reason why McDonald's is going to find success in their investment, but yet from the start, you're not even thought of. So it trickles down to go to you, so you could trickle up to give back to them, and you only get a little piece of the result. So what I did with my business model, I'm talent and the business. So McDonald's will deal with me, and then I make sure everything is right.
Seeing the state of music back then and the state of music now and the state of gaming back then and the state of gaming now, like, how do you feel that it's changed? Because I know a lot of people, including myself, feel, especially with music and gaming both, has been a little different in a not really a good way, but like I'm seeing what could potentially happen with the technology and things of that nature. But like I'm catering more towards the older style things and what I've heard music wise and what I've seen played. Like, how do you feel about it now? Like, what is your take on it?
Well, I mean, most of the stuff is horrible. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Call it like it is. I was about to say it, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, the reason why, there's a reason for that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, one of the reasons why most of the stuff is horrible now is because you don't have to be great to get bread. Like, think about this for a second, right? You can have somebody right now, like, I'm going to tell you real talk. So you can have all the talent in the world. You could be doing this every day, working hard nonstop, and you're the best host for this project, whatever a company got going on, right? Somebody could take this controller, right? Throw it up and let it hit them in the head. Get 4 million views because the controller hit them in the head and everybody's laughing. And then what happens is you have a company that don't know nothing about culture. They would just do some research. And who's the hottest person out right now? Oh, this person must be hot because they got all these followers. They must be doing something right. So they must be hot. All they do is throw a controller up in the air, let it hit them in the head, and everybody laugh at it. And now they got $100,000 deals. So why would somebody work hard to do something amazing when they can do pretty much nothing and get the same results?
It's for clicks. It's for like what can make them the most money. What is hot right now instead of like what's actually good.
Yes.
Is what you're saying. Yeah.
So the quality will always dip because the easier something becomes and the more you can get paid for that easy situation, that's what they're going to do. If I told you right now, I'll give you $1,000 and you got to, put in 16-hour days, work hard and everything like that, and the quality is immaculate, but you're only getting $1,000 for it. And somebody be like, yo, I'll give you $100,000 to look like an idiot or go kiss Donald Trump on the cheek, and I'll give you $100,000 just so I could capture you doing something stupid or something crazy that I can market to people and say, hey, you do more dumb stuff, we'll get you this. So then the only thing that's going to change when it comes to that is when people start to value the quality over the get rich quick situation. But it's hard for that to happen because if you hungry and you starving and you never had nothing, and this is your opportunity and all you see to have something, people operate off of fear and scarcity all the time because a lot of people don't have much. And it's getting tougher. So people will do anything for something.
For clout.
It's scary, but they'll do it. Dog, there was a rapper just yesterday that shot his mother, his brother, and his sister, and then did do a music video about it to get clout for shooting your mother.
That's insane. That's insane.
Bro, like it's dog, it's crazy out here. So the point I'm trying to tell you is when it comes to morals and what you stand for and everything like that, yo, it's the wild west out here right now. So at the end of the day, you gotta just choose what side you're gonna be on. But whatever side you choose to be on, stand on. And if you can find your way and figure it out to still be successful without compromise, that's where the greatness lies. At least that's what I look for.
Do you blame social media for that? Like, if anything, like the rise of how, like, you know, TikToks and how all these artists are blowing up, even games? Because I've said there's been games like Splitgate. I don't know if you've heard about Splitgate that blown up from like TikToks and like.
Who you think helped with the name of creating Splitgate? Like, come on, man.
Talk to him, David. Yo, hip hop, talk to him. Talk to him. They don't know, man. Talk to him.
You know what I mean? Out to my man Ian and all of them. Like, but that's my dude, bro. Before Splitgate was even a name, like, me and my man Ian was he was like picking my brain on what should he call it and stuff like that. Do you, like, fun fact, do you know what the name of Splitgate was before it was called Splitgate?
No.
It was called Wormhole Wars.
Yeah, keep it Splitgate.
And I was like, no, we ain't doing it.
Wormhole Wars.
Like, no, we're not doing that because of the
portals,
portals and stuff like that. Like, nah. So, but yeah, Ian, that's my brother. 1047 games. I know all of them. This is my fan right there. You know what I'm saying? But that's just another example of what I be saying. Like, a lot of people don't know, and it's cool. Let's keep it that way. But at the end of the day, a lot of stuff that you be seeing happening, and I'm talking about even from the biggest of the companies in the world. A lot of that stuff, you welcome. I'm telling you, B. One of the biggest issues that I see has nothing to do with social media. It has nothing to do with nothing. Yo, let me tell you something right now, right? Okay. So I got a PlayStation controller in my hand, right? I can use this controller to play the game, which is what it was made for, or I can use it to throw it at somebody and bust them in the forehead. Like, you know what I'm saying? So are you going to blame the controller, or you going to blame the person that did it? Like, I don't understand people. Like, there's like no accountability for nothing, and everybody want to blame everything else besides themselves. Like, no, it's your fault, period. Social media ain't got nothing to do with nothing. Social media is a platform. How you choose to use it is up to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll give you like 3 great scenarios, right? So let's say you got a girl talking about, I don't like being objectified, right? But then they'll go on social media and show everything. Like, everything. I want you to see inside the butt cheek. Like, and they'll show everything. And then that's social media fault? No, you chose to do that. Social media, the Facebook, TikTok ain't make you do nothing. You did it. Take responsibility in that, right? Then you got a lot of the dudes, right? A lot of the dudes be like, yo, son, I can't stand such and such, son. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to run up on the ops right now, son. Yo, I got the gag right now. And then get mad when you go to jail. Why would you go on Facebook? Yo, that's your fault.
Yeah.
Social media had nothing to do with it. That's your fault. That's your problem, right? You know what I'm saying? Then people will talk about, like, you know, all the guns and people getting murdered and stuff like that. The gun ain't do nothing. You picked it up and used it. If you buy a gun right now and just leave it on a table and you leave the premises, that gun is never going to get up and walk by itself to go do something to somebody. It's going to stay there forever until somebody picks it up and touches it to do something with it. So people always want to blame everything besides themselves. You want to know why? Because ego, and people think they're good when they're not. Period. So that's what it is. It's just that this type of talk here, you're not going to get that from most people. Because most people is a part of the very problem that you're talking about. So they're not going to talk about it to go against them. Why? Because they profit off of these problems. So if you're profiting on the problems, if you're profiting off of these problems, why would you want to stop the issue? If you know you're getting bread off of it. Because you don't care who else get hurt as long as you eating.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on, B. Like, we all know what it is. It's just that people don't want to talk about it. Remember, I don't work for nobody. I'm my own boss. I do what I want to do. I say what I want to say. But I'm always going to do it respectfully. You know, I don't curse. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I'm brand safe. Like, I don't do none of that. At the same time, I will tell you the truth. And people don't like the truth because most people are liars. Period. Ain't nothing else to it. It's facts. And whoever can't handle facts, if anybody got a problem with you telling them the truth, then you already know what they're about by default if they can't handle truth.
That's the ego that you were talking about that a lot of people suffer with, that still doesn't get talked about enough. I feel like that people just don't understand when to let their ego put it aside and be real. And I don't know. I was going to say, have you dealt with people that have been on that ego side that have come to light like, oh, maybe you were right?
All the time. That happens all the time. But the reason why it happens because remember, it's 2023. I've been in the industry 2008.
Mm-hmm.
So 2008 to 2023, right? You like my energy never changed or shifted. You never seen me not be me against anybody. Yo, bro, at the New York Stock Exchange, right? There was a point in time where you wasn't even allowed to step foot in the New York Stock Exchange unless you had a suit on and stuff like that. You know, I don't dress like that. I'm like this, chain and all, boom, like this at the stock exchange, doing everything like that. You kidding me? You know what I'm saying? Then a lot of the interviews and people that I talk to, like I'm able to be me all day. Not everybody can do that. Case in point, shout out to my brother Michael Pachter. Love Michael Pachter, right? So we had his event during E3, right? I forgot what year this is. A few years ago, like 2017 or something like that, if I'm not mistaken, right? There was a gentleman, his name was Greg. I don't remember his last name. He used to work for GameSpot and stuff like that. But anyway, he came up to me and was like, yo, bro, I know you don't know me, but I just wanted to say I appreciate you. Thank you for still being here, doing what you do. I love what you do. I respect it. It's like I'm dealing with something right now, but I just want to talk to you about it. And I was like, yo, bro, thank you so much for what's up, what's going on? And he was like, yo, I ain't gonna front, like, cause he had got fired from GameSpot or something like that. So the thing is, he was being fake to get the job and doing things he didn't want to do. Now that he's independent on his own, he's being himself, but everybody's looking at him like he's fake because the real you, nobody knows, because you had to be fake to get a paycheck. Facts. Saying things that you didn't even believe in just to hold your job because there's marketing dollars and everything like that. Yo, it's bully culture. In all these industries, there's bully culture. You just have to decide whether you're going to be the one bullied or not.
I feel like that's what a lot of people struggle with too, like not being themselves. Like you got to be yourself unapologetically at all times. And I feel like the like real things that are going to come from people are the true you. And so if you're this fake person that is not even you, you're going to suffer the repercussions later on, like you were saying. And so if you just start up being yourself, that's the love and all the genuine things that are going to come from that. So,
and like, I guess I'll like wrap it with this. Like, I'm going to say this because I think it should be said, given the context of what we're talking about. So, a lot of times people try to stay away from religion and spirituality and stuff like that. I don't. I walk Jesus Christ all day. I live by that. I walk by that. I'm proud of that. Let's go. So here's what I'm gonna say. I'm not saying you have to take what I say as whatever. I'm just putting it out there because it fits in line with the context of what we're speaking on. So one of the things that really changed my entire life, bro, and sis, obviously, you know what I'm saying? So one of the things that changed my entire life, for real, was when I realized I wasn't a good person. I used to always think I was good, I was great because I did this. And when I realized that I was not a good person, it changed my life. I got this ultimate level of freedom, this ultimate level of power, simply by realizing that I wasn't who I thought I was. What do I mean by that? Let's break it down. So, and I'm gonna ask y'all this too, right? So, how many lies have y'all told in y'all lives?
I can't even count.
Couldn't keep count. Exactly. I was about to say.
Exactly. So, is a liar a good person?
Definitely not.
No.
I figured that out when I started hurting people with my lies.
Yeah, boom. There you go. So my thing is, like, there's a lot of people, and everything I'm telling you, you go to scripture and look at it yourself. But in the Bible, it tells you that man will proclaim their own goodness. Period. So most people aren't as honest as y'all. They will say, I still think I'm a good person because I did it. Back to the ego again. You're not letting things go. If you don't let things go, you're not going to be blessed. So that's the first thing. Then if you was to ask somebody, have you ever stolen anything ever in your life? No matter if it's small, even if you was younger, if you downloaded music, anything like that. If you ever stolen something that was not yours, what does that make you? A thief. A liar and a thief. No matter how big or small it was. Because God's standard is perfection. And none of us is perfect. So when you look at it like that and you start looking at yourself, it's like, and if you can openly admit that, like it's a struggling process for those with the big egos, but the light at the end of the tunnel is right there. But you're a liar and a thief. according to God's standards. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could go on with that, but just with those two alone, like, we all dirty, all of us. So instead of trying to be something you're not, I let it go and do the best I can and give everything to God. And I go through my life like that. And I'm telling you, it's beautiful knowing that you're protected. It's beautiful knowing that you're taken care of, regardless. Case in point, if you go to the club, right, and you standing online trying to get in, and there's a certain requirement to get into this club, and nobody online meets the requirement, but the owner of the club comes out and be like, that's what's the name? Oh, that's Face. Oh, that's my man Face. Or that's my such and such. Oh, nah, you good. Come on in. So now, even though you didn't have the requirements, you were still allowed to be a part of it because the owner said so. So I give everything up to the owner, to the creator. Because through my own way, I ain't gonna make it. But through him,
anything's possible. Hip Hop Gamer, man, what you got cooking up for us, man? What's in the future and what should we look out for? And where could they find you at on social media or any other platform?
Yo, I'm going to tell you like this, right? Just Google me, Hip Hop Gamer. I'm everywhere on every platform. Just Google me. You know what I'm saying? Hip Hop Gamer. You'll see it pop up. Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, all of that, Twitch, blah, blah, blah. And one of the things that you're going to see real soon is #GamersCanRap. Get ready for my first.
Woo, let's talk about it, man. Definitely thank you for coming through the show, man. I truly appreciate you. It was definitely an honor speaking with you. For everybody out there, man, watching on VOD, this will be out real soon. Make sure you gotta check out more content on Voice of the Heroes. We're gonna have a whole bunch of interviews lined up. Globcool, Amanda C. Miller, Michael Swalby, also Afro Sinju. We're gonna have a whole bunch of content creators and voice actors this whole entire month. So make sure you stay locked. Hit that notification bell. Don't forget to subscribe. I am the one and only one fleeboyjetson, and with me is Denz Bake Lake. Tell them where they can find you at.
Lil Big Lake on Instagram and Big Lake on Twitch.
And you can find me at The Official Denz on Instagram and Denz on Twitch.
Hip Hop Gamer is in the house. Hot 97's very own and Logitech, man. Make sure y'all check out. Links will be in the description below, just in case you want to check out any of their social medias. And also, man, we'll see y'all next time. Make sure you love yourself, pass that love and love others, man. We out of here. Peace.
Voice of the hero, voice of the hero, voice of the hero.